Mr. B, if you're watching this. Alright guys, I'm going to show you the sleeping platform / storage system that I have for this 3rd gen 4Runner. I'm not going to show you the process of actually cutting and constructing it, but I will show you all the pieces and I will give you all of the dimensions. You can do all this with hand tools. The only power tool that I recommend is a palm sander for sanding all of the plywood pieces. So I wanted to keep it cheap, simple, easy to build, easy to take apart, really easy measurements, flat top, one piece. I wanted it easy to clean and a minimal look. It's gonna be a longer video, but please watch the whole thing. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna tear it down and go through the pieces. All right guys, I have the box platform torn down to the bottom. I'm gonna show you each piece. I'm gonna give you the dimensions that I will list in the description also, and I will explain why I chose to do it this way. Before I get started, I just wanna say that the butt portions of my rear seats have been removed. So the back part folds down, and then the butt part that was like this folds up like that. And so these are gone. It'll all make sense later. Okay, the first piece on the bottom is a 1/2 inch sheet of plywood. The dimensions are 38.5 wide by 64 inches deep. I had this sheet laying around. That's why I used it, to save some money. And in my opinion, you only need a 1/2 inch thickness on the bottom because it lays flat and it doesn't do any flexing. I have it cut to these dimensions because it fits right in between the 2 wheel wells, and it goes up to and meets the edge of this seat folded down. Okay, the next 2 pieces are the side pieces. These are 2x10s nominally, so the actual dimensions on edge are 9.25 inches high, and I have them cut to 38.5 inches deep. The reason I have them this size is because it's easy to remember. So 38.5 wide for the plywood, and these 2x10s are 38.5 deep. For the height, I chose 2x10s because the 9.25 inches clears the gas filler neck on the driver's side. So the driver's side hump is taller because of the gas filler neck. The passenger wheel well is shorter. When you build this box, you have to also ask yourself what you're going to be storing. And so I have a lot of toolboxes that are the same size and they fit nicely in this 9.25 height. So that's why I went with 2x10s as opposed to 2x6s or 2x8s. Sitting on top of the 1/2 inch plywood, or maybe in your case 3/4 inch plywood, it clears the humps. And I will show you that more clearly when the cap is on. Okay, the last piece is the front support, which is also a 2x10, and I have it cut to about 19.25 inches. You can have this piece as long as you want. You don't have to have it 19.25 inches. You can have it come all the way to the corners if you want. This gives the cap its support up in the front here. The reason why I have it cut short is because it opens up these corners here so I can stuff more things from this way when I open up the doors. This open corner on each side allows for different types of cargo, shapes, etc. The cap that I'm using is 3/4 inch plywood, so it's rigid enough to where it doesn't necessarily flex enough to where I need to bring the support all the way to the edge. Okay, now the drawer sits in this area and it's about exactly a square, not quite, but I'm gonna lift this up and I let the starting point of the seats, that hinge there, decide for me how deep my drawer would be. And so to that hinge, you can see that D-ring there. Back to me works out to be that 38.5 inches deep. And so that's how I chose the dimensions of the box. Here's the box outside of the car. It's not perfect, it's pretty crude, but it gets the job done. I'm gonna show you different angles. It's just one giant drawer, and it's all made out of 3/4 plywood. So I'm gonna put it in now, and I'll give you the dimensions of each piece, and you can see it inside the vehicle. All right, here's what it looks like in the car. So it's 5 pieces. You've got the bottom piece and the 4 sides. The front, the back, left, and the right side. I'm gonna start with the bottom piece, the biggest piece. 35.5 inches wide by that 38.5 inches deep. Easy. So for the sides, I'm gonna give you the height because they're all the same height. They're 8.25 high, all 4 pieces. Okay, easy. The front and the back pieces of the drawer are that same 35.5 inches wide. And the left and the right pieces of the drawer are 37 inches deep. That's how I have it. You can butt up different pieces differently, how you want to do it, but that's how I have it, because that's how my little pea brain had to figure it out. Okay, I forgot to mention that all of the 2x10s, 2 side pieces in the front support, are screwed from the bottom up from underneath. Just wanted to say that. And here's another thing I forgot to mention. The approximate size of the handles is, and I think that works perfectly for my hands. Measure your, across your palm if you need it bigger or smaller, or if you just want like 3 fingers or something. But I like that. Say 3 3/4 to 4 inches will probably do most people. I took a hole saw. I drilled here, 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 and here. And then I took a jigsaw and connected the holes and cut out these pill shapes for the handles. Took a file and knocked off all the corners. So those are all the pieces and their dimensions. When I put the cap on, I'll show you some more caveats. Before I do that though, I've got a barrel bolt here, and I had one here, and I'm gonna put one back. So I'm gonna have a barrel bolt on each side of the drawer to keep it from smashing the tailgate. I robbed one of the barrel bolts to put it here as a front stop, and I'm gonna put another one on the other side. So I'm gonna have 4 barrel bolts, 1 for each corner. I had a piece of wood right here, just like a little 1x4 as like a bump stop, but it took up a little bit of storage room here. So I took that out and just thought I should use barrel bolts instead too, since they're really small. All right, so here's a shot of the 2 inner barrel bolts that are acting as my stop for the drawer. And then I picked up another set, so I've got some gold ones on the back now. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so the cap is on. And I'm gonna show you exactly how big it is and why I have it set up like this. Like I said, it's 3/4 inch plywood and it's 1 piece. A sheet of plywood comes 4 feet by 8 feet, uncut. So it turns out 4 feet fits between this piece of plastic on the tailgate and this piece of plastic, which is the tightest dimension. This is 4 feet wide. So the sheet of plywood does not need to be ripped or cut long ways. So it's 4 feet wide, and mine is 73.5 inches deep. And I say mine because you may choose to go exactly that length, or you might make it a couple inches longer or shorter, depending on a few things. One of those is if you still have your seats installed. If you have your seats installed, you can only make it 64 inches, the same length or depth as the bottom piece of plywood. If you take your seats out, you can extend all the way up to the back of your front seats. Now, the length of this cap also depends on your driving position and how tall you are, essentially, and how far back you like your seat. So you need to get in your car and set up your seat to basically the max amount backwards that you would need the seat to be set at. And you need to tilt the top part of the seat back the furthest amount back you would need it. So you need to max out your seat position because that would determine how long you can make this cap. Now, if you're just putting tools and stuff up here, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going into detail about it because I will be sleeping in here and I need at least 5 feet 11 inches. If you're shorter than that, you don't need that much, but I gave myself 6 foot 1.5 inches or 73.5 inches for an extra couple inches to spread out. I drive pretty close to the steering wheel. I drive like kind of like a grandma, like pretty, so it's 4 feet wide and you can see that it clears above the gas filler neck as much as I want it to. You can press down kind of on this carpet, but since I wanted to keep the sheet of plywood 4 feet wide and just use one solid piece, that's where my sides end. On each side, I have roughly 2 inches of little stash storage off the side, which I like. I've seen other designs with the piano hinges and they flip up and all that's cool and everything, but I didn't want that for myself. If I want to put stuff, shove stuff in the sides, I can. I didn't want to have hinges on top of the wood that are raised up off the top, and I didn't want flaps, anything moving parts. I just wanted one flat platform. So I've got the strips of side storage and I have these pockets of storage on the left and the right sides. And you can fit quite a bit in here, just accessing it from the front face here. Get a good 9.5 inches tall. 7 inches wide, about 10.5 deep. So you got a good bit of volume here. You can fit bags, food, whatever you want. So I get why people do the flip up. I get it, and that's cool. Because then it, you can take like even more advantage of the space, and that's cool. But this is how I got it. So you can see in here, there's like this triangular space here where you can fit. It's good for like really long stuff. So if you've got like cheater bars or like things with long handles, firearms, fishing rods, maybe. You can stick and thread all the way up there. It's a good bit of room. You can fit a lot in there strategically. On this side, you have an even bigger space above the wheel well. So you can fit even thicker, long things all the way down. Here's like a half or third used roll of like shop towels. Like I can cram it. Here's like a cram demo. I can cram it. And I dig it. I dig it. You've got D-rings here, obviously, and like you can do the turnbuckle thing to the box, but it's so heavy that it never really moves around. So I still have like whatever, I can do whatever I want with my D-rings. Every once in a while, I'll maybe need to like bump the whole box up a little bit, and I just use this like gap of carpet to tell me like where I need to be. I can still get into my side storage. I have extension cord and ratchet straps, but I can still take this whole panel out, tilt it out. I could take the whole panel out if I wanted. I've got access to the D-rings. This top again is sanded to 220 grit, and I have a satin polyurethane on it. 2 heavy coats. For all the other edges of the plywood, I took a small hand plane to all the corners, knocked off all the corners, and then sanded all the pieces and used polyurethane. And that's how I wanted it. I didn't want to glue or staple any sort of thin carpet or like bass boat carpet or low pile carpet because I wanted to be able to, one, slide things easily. The wood is easy to slide things on, and I wanted to be able to keep it clean. When you have a carpet, you're gonna get dirt, dust, hair, stains, and spills. This is very easy to clean, and I can always just put down whatever I want, a blanket, yada yada. Which leads me to this storage area. So you have all of the space from the drawer up to this top support. and it's a good bit of space. And you can see now this corner is opened in case I have an odd shaped item or I have something that needs to come over the side here. I have some more wiggle room for different objects. And I didn't want feet like coming down to the floor here because that takes up space. I didn't want the fold out hinges and the feet, the wooden feet. And so that's what it looks like from the side when you open the door. Now, so I'll show you the amount of flex with this 19.5-inch long support. Like I said, you can extend it all the way out to the corner if you feel like you need to, or if you have two people, or if you have something really heavy near the corner, because you do have some flex. Hard to show on the camera, but like you've got some flex, but I'm gonna go in there and just double check that it's fine for me just laying in there or rolling around or whatever, putting some tools in there. I'll also show you all of my toolboxes underneath and all of my stuff that I keep in the drawer. I'll show you the other side real quick. So here's what it looks like, putting stuff in. And again, I'm super visual, so if this helps you visualize like what you're gonna put in here, then that's great. So you got all that storage. It's a ton of storage. I'm doing this one-handed, so forgive me. But I've got one toolbox, got a tackle box that was in this way, another like full-size box, another full-size box, and the other side. I've got a whole tool bag, heavy, like stuffed, and another full box. It's 4 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, sitting parallel to the side of the car, just like that. And then the tool bag and the tackle box were sitting perpendicular. And I'll show you putting them back in and how much room I still have in there. So it fits all that stuff super easily. So like if you come around, and I've got a bunch of shoes right there, and so as you can tell here, like I've got this whole wing, and you can cut a piece of plywood for here if you want. I've got this whole wing of space here. I've got more space where the shoes are, and like I can push the tackle box to the other side to that tool bag. I've got like a whole nother chunk right there. So that's what I was saying, with this corner out, with this support so short, you can fit all kinds of stuff in this corner. Like it just opens it up. I know this video is long, but I'm trying to be thorough. You've got, again, like this whole wing. You've got more space here, got space here, and you've got the whole floor space there. And in the middle there on the floor. Let me know if you want any random measurements or dimensions of stuff, of the storage or whatnot. And then like from in the front, you've got, here you are sitting. You know, you can slip stuff right down here. Like there it is, you know. But yeah, let me know if you want any more measurements on stuff like that. I've seen different designs for the drawers to pull out. Some use drawer slides. Some people put strips of hard plastic to aid in the sliding. Some people have 2 drawers, you know. Some people have 1 drawer with dividers. I just wanted one big drawer, because drawer slides or strips of plastic, they start to eat into the space of the drawer, and I wanted to maximize all the drawer space that I could. Just use your big muscles and just pull, and with the wood being finished, it pulls out. I've had a lot of stuff in here. I've had a floor jack in here, like a full-on floor jack, tools, jack stands, a a lot of heavy stuff, and you can do it. Bear down and push in. It's doable. I get that not everyone can do that, but I definitely recommend. Any sort of divider that you put in here, you're gonna start to limit yourself to what you can and can't put in here. So I just wanted one big square drawer, and that's what I have. And I don't regret it at all. I'll show you it full, getting pulled in and out. And you could also hear there it hit the barrel bolt on the inside. All right, so you've seen the barrel bolt. You know, if they have pressure on them, just bump it up to the back ones. Throw them out of the way, and then just watch your back and stuff. But just bear down. You can pull that bad boy all the way out. And it's big. But I'm not like some macho dude. So you can do it if I can do it. And same thing, just bear down. Go, I go with my knuckles usually, you know, or you can go on the side. Whatever. And once it starts moving, once you overcome that inertia, that brick, it's easy. Boom. I like it. I like it better than slides. Show you what I have in it now. I've got an impactor and a drill, bits, bunch of screws. So like this bag is heavy. This is a whole ratchet, wrench, tool set. It's heavy. Crawl space tape, saw, box of like grease and wax and penetrant and stuff, 4 extra ratchet straps, an emergency hatchet, torque wrench, cheater bar. This black container is fluids, car fluids, like gear oil and brake fluid and stuff. So that's pretty heavy. This is decently heavy. I've got a cheap scanner, some muck boots, and I've got a set of jack stands, so those are heavy. I mean, lifting it with one hand, it's a lot. I'm not gonna guess, but it's a lot of weight, and I can pull it out quite easily. And there's so much more room I can fit random stuff in here. All right, here's one more measurement that is important that I forgot to mention. So from the top of the box to the highest part of the ceiling is about 27 inches. Then you have from the box top to this trim here is like 24 inches. So I'll show you, again, I'm like 5'11", and I will show you me inside of here. Various positions here. So like, you can crouch. You can sit up like that. You know, you can kind of lounge like right here. That's pretty nice. I'll show you. Here's laying down. My head's touching the back of the front seat because they're angled back like this. So your head is gonna hit top part of the seat before it can get all the way down in here. So you gotta fold up your seats if you want to gain that room there. You can see my feet are almost sticking out. But if you're sleeping, it's fine, because you're not always like totally fully stretched. And you can always put the seats up more. Here's like that. See, I'm over here with my toes. I mean, you don't want the front seats up like anymore. So if you're like over 6'1", you'll have to either do like the folding platform that they do, raise your seats all the way forward, and then have like, you know, some folding thing to gain all the way up to like the center console. That's another like probably 5 inches. Of course, you got diagonally if you're going solo. That's plenty. I'll just show you different views in case this helps. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you can't sit up. You can scrunch up and do some stuff. Here's sitting. Sitting on the tailgate is nice. You get most of the room there. All right, let's go inside. I want to go inside and close it, and you can see what it's like inside. I'm trying to be comprehensive. All right, so you get in. I'm getting in on the side. I'm gonna do probably an inside latch for the tailgate.
so I can open it from the inside. If I'm able to do that, I think I'm gonna do that. Here's like, you know, what your view is kind of like. Alright, so you can see, like, I'm laying down, sleeping, and with my feet at right angles, pointing straight up, my feet are not touching the tailgate. When I rotate them down, I can touch it. So I'm pretty darn comfortable at this dimension. Like, I think I nailed it, at least for my height. I've got just enough. I can, like, scoot down. Yeah, like, I'm scooting down. And I've got, like, a little bit of headroom, too. Like, I don't have to touch my seat setting if I don't want to, which is cool. So, yeah, no sitting up, boys. No sitting up. Takes a few days for this poly to really fully cure. It's pretty smooth after, like, 2 thick coats. I mean, I'll probably just have to knock it down with, like, a scuff pad or something, like a green one, or even a blue one. The softer of the two, usually. When you're sanding the plywood, like when you're sanding the top, first of all, wear eye protection and ear protection. But when you're sanding this stuff, you can see it caught the sandpaper here. It's gonna catch splinters that you can't see or really feel when you're sanding. And so be aware of that. So wear gloves. Also, like, after you put a coat of poly on it, you wanna, like, you can take 220 grit or like a green scuff pad, knock it down before you put the next coat of poly on it. When you're doing that, wear gloves, because this is like construction sheathing. Like, this isn't necessarily made for this. You get what I'm saying. But you will catch big splinters that will get you. Like, I'm talking big nasty ones. Like, it happened to me a couple times. I actually forgot how hairy this stuff can be. So like when you're with that scuff pad and you're going back and forth, like, you will catch a nasty splinter. Like big ones. Yeah, oh, the top. So like, it's 4 feet wide. Go to Home Depot or Lowe's and have them cut it, cross cut it. Like, you don't need to rip it, right? Because it's 4 feet. So you can load it. You can load this bad boy right in. Get a really straight piece, look down it. Make sure it's not really crooked, because you're gonna have a hard time. Get a really nice, even if you have to look through the pile, and put it back, obviously don't be a jerk. But look down it, get a really straight piece, look at the grain, try to get like at least like a good looking piece, and one that isn't too like ribbed deeply. Like, you can hear my nails. I had to do some more like annoying sanding. It's like if you like gouged out this way with your nails, like there's on 2 places on each side. So try to avoid that if possible. Get the smoothest piece you can, because there are smooth pieces and not so smooth pieces. Yeah, I think that's it for now. I mean, I really like all the different builds that I've seen. I know it really helped me to look through all of them on YouTube before I sort of landed on what I was going to do. I think they're all really cool. I think they all are like tailored to, you know, every person's goals. I might put a top on this drawer. I think that would be something nice to have that table here. Appreciate you watching. Go and build it, because I know you've been putting it off. And let me know anything that I missed. And let me know what you want to see next. Let me know how I did, and like, give me a spanking. Alright, that's it. I'm rambling. See ya. Subscribe.